Nissan is now offering an all-wheel drive version of the Ariya electric SUV. e-4ORCE models promise greater traction and far better performance than the standard Ariya, all without sacrificing amenities or totally savaging the range. Sounds like a winning combo to me. And you know what? It absolutely is. This is Nissan's first all-electric SUV. A mainstream offering, it competes with rivals like the Mustang Mach-E, ID.4, and Hyundai Ioniq 5. Though in its top trim level, the Ariya feels more upscale than the Ford or Volkswagen. Visually, not much sets e-4ORCE models apart from front-drive Ariyas. The badging is slightly different, 20-inch wheels are available, and then inside, Nappa leather comes standard in the top-shelf Platinum Plus model. Every Ariya features a somewhat pug-like front end and a bulbous body. This SUV does look nice enough in person, but you'll have to decide whether you like the styling or if you'd rather have something more angular like the Ioniq 5. Just like front-drive models, e-4ORCE Ariyas are offered with two different battery sizes. The base pack clocks in at 63 kilowatt hours of usable capacity, while the larger one is rated at 87 kilowatt hours. Now, range varies between about 205 miles on the low end and a max of around 270. For context, the longest range front-drive Ariya tops out at 304 miles on a charge, so there's not too much of a reduction here. Unfortunately, things are a little bit less cheery when it's time to DC fast charge because this vehicle tops out at an unimpressive 130 kilowatts. In comparison, Hyundai's eGMP-based vehicles are nearly 100 kilowatts faster than the Ariya, though we will have to see how quickly this vehicle really charges once we put it through an EV Pulse Charging Challenge test. Anyway, as for the all-important 10 to 80% number, it takes about 35 minutes to achieve that feat with the smaller battery and roughly 40 for the larger one. This vehicle's onboard Level 2 AC charger tops out at 7.2 kilowatts. But hey, at least this vehicle uses a CCS plug and not a CHAdeMO port like the Leaf and, oddly, the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. Now let's take a few minutes to reflect inward and explore the Ariya's cabin. Now there are plenty of things to like in here and even a few things that you will love. First up, let's talk about materials. We have beautiful suede on the dashboard and door panels. There's plenty of soft plastic, and Platinum Plus models even come with Nappa leather, which feels fantastic. And of course, these front buckets are cooled, heated, and they are super comfortable. Adding a little bit of visual interest, designers have incorporated this Japanese geometric pattern on the speaker grates, as well as the floor mats, and even the grille outside. As for tech, we've got a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, as well as a 12.3-inch touchscreen here on the dashboard. Now, I haven't had a lot of time to play around with this infotainment system. It seems pretty responsive, but I will reserve judgment until I get one of these vehicles at home and I can really put it through its paces. Regardless, we have Amazon Alexa integration here, as well as wireless Apple CarPlay, though if Android Auto is your jam, make sure you bring a cable. Now that's all pretty standard stuff these days, but the Ariya has a few outstanding features, and the first one I want to talk about are these haptic buttons. They're integrated into the trim for a super smooth, super clean look, but these actually work very well. They have a strong haptic response when you click on them, so I really do like these. Additionally, the center console is motorized. You can, at the push of a button, slide it forward or backward to move it wherever you want. And then finally, my favorite feature in here, it's right on the dashboard. You press and hold a button here, and this little storage drawer pops out and up. This is a great place to stash valuables away from prying eyes. The Ariya here gives you roughly the same interior space as a Nissan Murano, but it only has the exterior footprint of the smaller Nissan Rogue. So overall, that gets you about 23 cubic feet of cargo space behind the rear backrest, and then if you fold those down, that number grows to just about 60, so it's pretty spacious in here. Additionally, you've got nearly flat floors up front and in the back for enhanced passenger comfort. Alrighty, now that I am behind the wheel, let's talk performance. Just for reference, the most basic front-wheel drive Ariya has 214 horsepower, higher-end versions with the larger battery pack, again front-wheel drive, have 238 ponies, and either way you get 221 pound-feet of torque. And those are adequate, if not thrilling, numbers. But things are much spicier in e-4ORCE models. With 2 electric motors, you expect a lot more get up and go, and we have that here. These Ariyas come with 335 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque when fitted with the smaller battery pack. However, higher-end versions have 389 horses and 442 pound-feet of twist, and that, of course, is what we have here. Now, I've got to say, this SUV, when you bury the accelerator, it's not rocket ship fast like some other EVs out there. However, with a 0 to 60 performance of about 4.8 seconds, you are never wanting for performance in any driving situation. I am blown away by the Ariya's steering. Not only is it nicely weighted, but it's super crisp, and it actually gives you feedback from the road, which is unheard of in modern vehicles with electrically assisted power steering systems. So very well done, Nissan. Now, this SUV also has near perfect 50-50 weight distribution front to rear, so it does feel super balanced in corners. Not that you're going to be taking this thing down your favorite mountain road on a Saturday. Get a Z-Car or a Miata for that, but still, it's nice to have an SUV that drives well, and the Ariya does. The Ariya's ride quality is surprisingly good, smooth yet well controlled. The vehicle brushes off bumps without transmitting much, if any, harshness to the cabin. Now, the body does teeter-totter the tiniest bit over surface undulations, but this ever so slight end-to-end rocking is far less noticeable than in other EVs, like lower-end versions of the Mustang Mach-E. This Nissan is available with ProPilot Assist 2.0, which is an eyes-on, hands-off highway driving aid, just like Super Cruise or Blue Cruise, and it works on thousands and thousands of miles of limited access divided highway, just like those other 2 systems. And making this super easy to use, engineers have sort of color-coded it. So when the instrument cluster or head-up display are white, that's when you have basically standard cruise control. When things are green, that's when you have access to ProPilot Assist, which is adaptive cruise with lane centering. Very, very good lane centering, might I add. You very often don't have to put much steering effort in because the car is doing all the driving. And then, when things turn blue, that's when you have access to a hands-free zone. So it's very easy to understand what mode you're in and what those modes mean. Nissan Safety Shield 360 is also standard in the Ariya. It's a whole bunch of driver aids that are really hard to show on video, so maybe Ben will just put a bunch of text up on screen, but don't put anything across my face. That's the moneymaker. Anyway, Nissan Safety Shield 360, that includes automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection. There's blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, lane departure warning, automatic high beams, and rear automatic braking. Lots of great stuff. So, as you can see, there's a lot to love about the Ariya. It has a beautiful interior, it drives exceptionally well for an SUV, and of course it has competitive range, but there are a few things I don't like about this vehicle, and the most glaring one has got to be the brake pedal, which has a super rubbery and imprecise feel. It's really not pleasant to step on at all. I think Nissan engineers could do a lot of work to improve the feel of the brake pedal. And then we have this self-centering turn signal stalk. It's sort of the answer to a question nobody asked. Why do we need this? Ford and BMW experimented with similar stalks years ago, and I don't think anybody really liked them, so I kind of wish they just put a conventional turn signal stalk in that would lock in one position or the other. And then the last thing I don't like is the shifter. It's similar to what you get in a Nissan Rogue, and it's fine, but it's kind of fiddly and it slides, and I would just much prefer having a knob or some buttons. They're much more intuitive. Next, let's talk pricing and then finish up this review. The base Ariya e-4ORCE checks out for about $48,525, including $1,335 in destination fees. Among other amenities, that outlay gets you heated front and second row seats, a color head-up display, that nifty sliding center console, and the smaller battery pack, which provides a Nissan estimated 205 miles of range. All in, the range-topping Ariya e-4ORCE Platinum Plus model evaluated here costs $62,770. Now that figure includes delivery, $995 for a lovely two-tone paint job, and $250 for floor mats. Overall, the price seems more than fair for what you're getting with this vehicle. Unfortunately, though, no matter the model, Nissan's Ariya is not eligible for any federal incentives because they are all built in Japan, so be aware of that if you're looking to save money. At least in Platinum Plus e-4ORCE trim, the 2023 Nissan Ariya is one of the nicest all-electric SUVs I have driven. I'm super impressed by this vehicle's clever and upscale interior. The range is pretty good, and this thing is actually great to drive. Now sure, a few things could be improved, but really there's not much to complain about here. And you can look for all-wheel drive Ariyas at Nissan dealerships within the next few weeks, and then more significant volumes should be arriving at showrooms within the next few months. Next up, watch my full review of the GMC Hummer EV pickup. Unlike the suave and sophisticated Nissan Ariya, this monster truck is over the top in practically every way imaginable. But you know what I love about it? It really shows the breadth and depth of what EVs can do, so click right over here to watch that video now.